Welcome to Distorted Realities. Here are your hosts, J Rock and Frank Walls.
Welcome everyone to Distorted Realities. My name is J Rock, and alongside me is Mr. Frank Walls.
What up, people? How you doing, guys? Are you ready to be scared?
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. So, brief explanation. We gather information about the strange, the weird, the supernatural, paranormal, outer space stuff. UFOs. Are we alone? Are we?
I think so. I think we're not alone.
We're not alone. So, we do all of this with the expectation of you joining in on the chat, having casual conversation, discover your own truth. What you believe, what you don't believe, it doesn't matter. We embrace it all, and we just make a lot of fun with this material. So it's gonna be an interesting week, right? So how's your week been? Like, what's new?
Lately, my week has becoming just doing research and research for the channel, and also working. We all work and have our lives and the family. Kids, all that.
Okay. Well, still on the road of recovery.
Good.
Coffee. Arm is at 50%. Some more coffee. Hopefully level it up to 60. Right? Yeah, so we have a jam-packed program with some new features that we added, and I think you, the viewer, will enjoy. With that being said, you brought something, right?
Yep.
You want to show me what you brought?
I got it right here. This is a little detail. This is
Look at that. Man walks on the moon. One small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
there you go.
And basically, this is just a memento that was given to me by Mr. Walls, because he knows I love everything that involves space and UFOs and conspiracy theories. So yeah. We are going to venture out going forward to attempt something new.
Yeah.
So why don't you use your spooky voice, right? and tell us what's the name of the location we're going to.
We're going to visit the chair of the devil.
Yeah. So basically, there's this place that we're going to.
It's right here.
I believe it's called the Devil's Chair in Cassadaga, Florida. So we're gonna go over there, take a look at it. There's a lot of rumor and lore behind it. We'll make sure to record it and share our findings. Again, we're not gonna sit on the damn thing. We're just gonna take a look at it and just see what the myth is behind it and share that information with you guys and see if you're interested in having conversation. So again, as we mentioned before, jam-packed program.
We got a lot today for you guys. A lot.
Today's theme: fallen angels, King Solomon. That's the what struck a chord with us. So that's our headliner, basically our main event that falls under the creepy section of our or segment of our show. But without further ado, let's talk about creepy crawlies and things that go bump in the night.
Let's go to the cryptid section.
Cryptid section it is. Doo-doo-doo. All right, Beast of Bray Road. So this one is a big deal in Michigan, and there's various reported sightings. So what is the Beast of Bray Road? Why don't you give us the wiki term of the beast?
Or apparently it's kind of like a wolf type creature, kind of like a werewolf, a man wolf, that type of creature, and supposedly it was seen on the Beast of Bray Road. Is the name given to a wolf-like creature allegedly reported to have been witnessed near Elkhorn, Walworth County, Wisconsin. Supposedly.
So you know that there is a lot going on in Wisconsin when it comes to cryptids. They actually have a poster, and I should at some point download it and share it with you guys, with a compendium, because it's not even like 5 or 6, a compendium of cryptids that roam the woods of Wisconsin, and it's very country.
Yeah, it's very
It's
country.
very
yeah.
country area, so you would expect a lot of these lore, myths, and cryptids to exist.
There's a lot
So-
of Amish people over there too
Yeah.
in some areas.
Yeah. So outside of it being the home of the Green Bay Packers, which is an awesome football team, they're also loaded with beast, right? So what makes this Beast of Bray Road so unique, from what I read, is that it's known for the mutilation of animals.
Yeah.
It has been reported, and this is not on the presentation slide that you're seeing in the background, but it has been reported that they've actually got video footage of it going towards someone almost like on the prowl, looking to attack the individual. And this thing is massive. It's
is.
not like a regular wolf.
No, it's huge.
It's more akin to a werewolf.
like a werewolf. That's the word that I was looking for.
Right,
Werewolf. Werewolf.
They also seen it walking on both feet. So a lot of reports. So I think that this one, and it's also been documented on newspapers. It's not, and we're not talking about like, those fake newspapers that always
Yeah.
put these crazy sad
With aliens
stories.
and
But
stuff.
this was actually reported on major newspapers in their sections in Wisconsin. So so I'm gonna say yes to this one. I think this one is a go.
It says the name for the rural farm road in which it was first purportedly sighted. Reports of the creature in 1980s, 1990s prompted to local newspaper, the Walworth County Week, to assign reporter Linda Goldfrey to cover the story. Wow. So they even sent a reporter to
It's
them.
very interesting. Again, I'm gonna say yes to this one. I kind of feel that this is pretty real.
Could be. Could be your dog that was hanging around
Oh
there.
yeah, so I have a huge giant schnauzer named Rambo, and essentially he is not a dog; he's a skinwalker because the thing is massive. But all jokes aside, Beast of Bray Road, I kind of buy into it, and why? Because there's a lot of legends behind wolves, especially in Native American lore,
Yeah.
and in other sectors where there's some truth to this. So yeah, so I'm buying into this. I think that,
I think it could be real. Why not? I mean,
yeah. So let me segue into something that we did different this time around. We took advantage of technology, and with the power of AI, we decided to make our own rendition of what we would call a vignette or small trailer of the Beast of Bray Road and what we believe it would look like in the woods. So without further ado, we're going to share this clip. Tell us what your thoughts are. And we'll be on the lookout.
The Beast of Bray Roads. In the woods of Wisconsin lies a beast. Be careful not to roam the woods of Wisconsin alone, or you'll become his feast.
All right. So we're back on, and we hope you liked it. I think it was a really cool experiment, and we decided to work on some of that. These will be shorts that will be posted on TikTok and Instagram. And as we progress with mastering this particular technique, you'll probably see more of it. AI is a truly powerful thing, isn't it?
It is. It is.
In the right hands, you can make wonders. In the wrong ones, it can be disastrous. So, in the words of Stanley, with great power comes great.
Responsibility.
Yes. So, the next one is from Brazil.
That one is a little bit
So,
scary.
so we had the last show. We had a couple of people comment on the Brazilian creatures and cryptids.
Yeah, some people were saying that we don't show it on the program.
Yeah. So, what you want to know about it is that the list is so vast, right? The list is so vast that at this point, I just picked out randomly which ones I thought were interesting.
Exactly.
This one struck me because I never saw it in any other lore, right? So this one is called it's called Satanic Head in our American language. In Hispanic language, we say cabeza satánica, right? Satanic head. So I'm pretty sure in the Portuguese language it's more fluid, but it's all the same. It is folklore.
So apparently people will see that at night. How does it
So
work?
so the lore behind it is that there is, if you're roaming the streets without purpose in the middle of the night in Brazil, there's this possessed head, satanic in nature, and basically if you encounter it, you should run away from it. Do not let it get close to you or touch you. If it does, it results in your death.
Wow.
You will get sick at first, and then you would
You
die,
will die later on.
right? And this thing is like a soul collector, right? It just roams and looks for people who are not doing anything with their lives, living without purpose, and it kind of finds its way to them and grabs them when no one's looking. So yeah, so it's a very interesting piece. How do I feel about it, right? Like in New York, you have the Legend of Sleepy Hollow, the Headless Horseman.
The
right?
hell.
You have Medusa in the Greek mythology, right?
yeah.
That her head gets severed, but her eyes can still,
and turn you into stone.
right?
If
So,
you look at her.
but I never heard of a floating head wandering around aimlessly in the streets of Brazil.
That's kind of
You know,
scary, though.
The idea is so. I don't know if I can buy into that completely. I think when you give these things thought,
Yeah.
I would have to. It's like you got to see it to believe it, right? It's
Yeah.
more plausible to believe in a werewolf or a Jersey Devil or even a chupacabra.
Yeah, chupacabra. Yeah.
But a floating head, that's a little bit.
The
far-fetched.
chupacabra is not a legend. That's real, okay? Every Puerto Rican know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's real.
Don't you have the picture of the sergeant? That
This
was,
is one of the. This is the mayor. This was actually a newspaper that when they were hunting for the chupacabra, So it's a newspaper from Puerto Rico that they were like pretty much covering everything,
Wow.
So
So yeah. So is it creepy? Satanic head? Absolutely.
It
The
is, it is.
The idea of knowing that you're walking aimlessly somewhere in the middle of the night, which is a red flag. You shouldn't be wandering aimlessly.
Yeah,
You should be at home,
exactly.
right? But you're wandering aimlessly in the middle of the night, and there's this floating head approaching. you.
especially walking by yourself.
Yeah, that's
Brazil is tough, man.
It is. But their lore is insane. They
Yeah.
have a library of cryptids, and some of them are comparable to ours. But what I noticed is that there's intent behind each cryptid. There's a
Gotcha.
reason for it, right? Like,
Okay.
so in this case, the satanic head, it's looking for people with no purpose.
Mm-hmm.
If you're here and you're living in this world, right, you gotta have purpose.
You're supposed to have a purpose.
And if you're not, then you shouldn't be here.
Exactly.
So that's kind of the idea behind it. But overall, this is the picture I found. It is creepy, but what's more creepier is what AI can do. So let's take a look at the satanic head.
Rumor has it, in the streets of Brazil there is a satanic floating possessed head, looking for individuals roaming the streets at night. Those prepared to sin will pay the ultimate price. Be sure to stay at home, because those who encounter this head means a swift death.
Interesting, isn't it? Very creepy, very disturbing. I think that Brazil has
A lot of crazy stuff.
a lot of good material.
A lot of cryptid. A lot of. It's weird over there. It's very weird. Let me tell you. Same as Haiti, as well. There's a lot of things going on over there.
I mean, when people think about Brazil, right? They think about carnival, they
Yeah.
think about party life, they think about the beach, but there's another side to it, right?
There's a lot of voodoo over there. A lot
have,
of
like-
witchcraft and
Yeah,
stuff like
so,
that.
So it's very interesting to see. And again, I have a lot of friends that their parents are from Brazil, or they themselves were in Brazil, and they don't talk about these things exclusively, but when you mention it,
They know.
they'll let you know. They're like, hey, listen, this is not, it's not all party life and all that stuff. There's other underlying things that happen. So yeah, the next one is also from Brazil.
Yep.
So it's called the Mapinguari, right? Or another word for it is Juma.
Juma.
Juma. So this is like the Brazilian Bigfoot,
Okay.
all right? So there's a really interesting story behind this. So essentially, the person was a shaman, and he kind of uncovered the secret to eternal life. But in the process of doing so, he chose to change his appearance because he knew everyone would come after him for that secret. So he turned himself into this vicious monster, and basically its characteristics are insane.
According to Wiki, this is there are various depictions of the Mapinguari. Prior to 1933, traditional folklore described it as a former human shaman turned into a hairy humanoid cyclops. This version is often said to have a gaping mouth on his abdomen, with his feet turned backward. Creature with such feet, which confuse those trying to track it, are found in folklore around the world.
So
Wow.
you know that
That's weird.
this particular cryptid has a feature with another cryptid that is considered legend in the Dominican Republic.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's called the Siguapa.
Chihuahua.
Yeah,
I think I heard that
and
somewhere.
basically it's a female, but it has its feet inverted also,
Inverted.
which is the common feature that this particular cryptid has. All in all, though, I don't know about the gaping mouth stuff, but the Bigfoot legend, perhaps the whole one-eyed thing, I can buy.
Could be a cycle,
It would be freaky though if it had a mouth or a stomach.
right?
The other thing was that it's known for leaving a really foul stench that comes from the stomach,
Wow.
right?
Like,
From the mouth of the stomach. So,
Like sulfur or something like that. Like,
well, I don't know, but I mean, it's not the kind of thing I'm gonna go to Brazil and go look at, right? So kind of alluding to that, I don't. There's a lot of people that chase Bigfoot, that
Yeah.
chase Yeti, that chase the abominable snowman, or whatever they
snowman.
want to call it. There's a lot of different people that work on this stuff. I've never seen anyone talk about the Brazilian one.
I think this one is scarier. That's why they don't go after.
I mean,
it.
it got two mouths.
Yeah, right?
So
It's not.
it's kind of for me, it's a deal breaker, right? It's
Yeah.
like, no, I'm not going there.
We just need to visit that place that we're going. That's it.
That's it. Right? So, but yeah. So all in all, I think that the Juma Mapinguari, whichever one floats your boat, I think it's a yes, but it's not a hard yes, right? It's like it's possible that there's a species of ape that exists.
That could be the son of a Yeti and Bigfoot. Could be.
It could be. I mean, there are species that do, produce a new species, right?
Yeah. You never know. Scary, but
But yeah,
interesting.
So very hard to find images of this or renditions. By the way, there's not a lot on this. Like you
No.
can look at the wiki, the Brazilian wiki for cryptids.
The Brazilian wiki, yeah.
Yeah, and there's a lot of it. All in all, though, the fact that the feet are inverted is what freaks me out. Like,
That's untraceable, right? Untrackable.
no, it's trackable if you know what you're looking for, right?
Yeah.
Because then you know that if its foot is facing one way, you're gonna just
he's going-
follow the opposite.
He's
of
not
it.
coming this way. He's going that way.
Exactly. So I think this one overall is a very cool and interesting one. I just don't know about the whole gaping mouth and the stomach thing. You know what they say, right? You only put food in the stomach, nothing else, but it has to go inside the mouth. So
That's crazy. That's crazy. Imagine having two mouths, one in the stomach. No, I don't know. That's weird.
it is. It is indeed. So with that being said, let's check out what AI has taught us.
Let's see. Let's check it out.
The Mapinguari, this Bigfoot-like creature said to roam the jungles of Brazil, has a unique identifying mark, which is a mouth on its stomach. Be on the lookout when you're in the jungles of Brazil, as it will feast not only on your soul, but on your body entirely.
All right. Do you have anybody in the chat?
Yeah. I got a comment from Kate Dan saying that what it means by feet inverted. So I think we explain it. Like,
Oh, sure. So basically, when you walk, your feet are in front of you, your toes are facing in front of you. The inversion of your feet means that if you take your foot and turn it 360, your heel would be facing forward.
exactly.
So that's what the inverted heel, what the inverted foot means. It's that your heel is what's leading, not your toes.
So if somebody's tracking the beast, it will be confused if they don't know what they're looking for.
So most people, and it's kind of like a trap. It's kind of like their way of entrapping people
Exactly.
or to avoid being caught. Because when you look for footprints, right, what are you going to do? You're going to run.
You're gonna follow.
You're going to
the-
follow the footprint based on where the toe leads.
Exactly.
You don't follow the heel,
Exactly.
right? So that's kind of what it is. That's a great question.
And we have another question from Corrales. It says, "I wonder if there's video proof like the Bigfoot ones."
So I was looking for some video proof. I have not seen it. I do wonder if there are, in every part of the world, they have their own channels and stations, and they have their own, like for example, here in the United States, we used to have a show called Sightings,
Sightings.
right? Where there was a gentleman that would host the show and talk about these cryptids and things. I'm pretty sure Brazil has something like that.
Probably, yeah.
And it's funny because when you think about it, in those countries, they're very like into that stuff. Like that's a big deal.
They
right?
really believe in those stuff and
So
and a lot of other things they
so
believe in.
to answer your question, no, I have not seen it. I have been looking for it. It would blow my mind if I did see it. I did find one of they have a beast in Brazil that lurks Brazil. And I did find a video of that. However, I'm not airing it on this segment. It'll be on the next one. It's like a werewolf type creature that's trying to run into a home and the guy's hiding behind the home. But yeah, so
The Mapinguari, this Bigfoot-like creature said to roam the jungles of
so let's talk about the goat man.
The Goat Man.
Yeah, goat. And
Right.
we're not talking about the goat, the greatest of all time. We're talking about the goat man.
The
okay?
Goat Man. Yeah.
So essentially, the goat man was very hard to articulate, right? Its mythological origin is in the form of a satyr, right, which is half human, half goat. They were very smart. They're good trackers, very intelligent. They kind of served the gods,
Yeah.
especially in the Greek times and
Like
those-
Pam. I think Pam was one of the goats, man.
Yeah, so it's not a goat man, it's a satyr.
A satyr.
The goat man is the cryptid variation of it,
Okay.
right? So it's like saying a velociraptor and a T-Rex. They're both fast and dangerous, but one of them is just like the raw, like I'm gonna get you creepy type image,
Gotcha.
right? So it's
They're,
visual.
they're hunting
So-
from you. where you're
So what happens is that upon doing research on this, I noticed that there's no real origin that supports where it comes from outside of like the ancient stuff, right?
yeah.
There are variations of the story and variations of what the goat man is, but there's also variations of what it does, right? In some cases, it's there to protect a location from people disrupting it or destroying it. It's there for that. In some cases, and depending on the state, it's there to abduct and feast on the flesh of a being. So there's a lot of different stories. Some of them even towards the juvenile kids, like kids who roam alone and behave bad. It's like folklore. It's tons
There's a
of it.
lot. That's what I'm seeing here on Wiki. There's a lot of story of It says, according to some variation of the legend, a goatman is said to have once been a scientist.
So, so there's a lot of it. So this, I mean, this is, by the way, this is far spanning. As far as all cryptids that I've looked up, um, Texas, Maryland, Pennsylvania, Ohio, Idaho, Iowa, like all these rustic states or states that fit in what we call the rustic belt of the United States. This is one of the main characters.
Characters.
You know, like if this was like the League of Villains, right? That would be the main one. He's the one everywhere, right?
Wow.
Um,
It could be maybe the same creature that just emigrates from one side to another.
well, it's possible, but
Could be.
there's a lot of sightings. There's a lot of reported sightings.
Well, it could be multiple of them, like a little small race of goatmans, you know?
It's possible.
Could be.
It's possible. Now, the last time they reported seeing it was between 1970 and early 2000s. I haven't heard of anything more recent than that.
Yeah.
I believe that this is one of those, perhaps in my head, this is one of those situations where they're talking about, you know, a specific subset or species of goat, perhaps. You have a question?
I got somebody from the chat says, "What's up, Jose? Oh, boy, your boy Rolf, your gym buddy.
Who's that?
Your gym buddy." Says gym buddy.
Oh, what's going on,
Ralph.
Ruffy boy? Yeah, it's good to hear from you. What else we got?
We got Keith Dunder. This a pagan god named Pan. Yeah, Pan. Yeah, that's Could this be referring to him? Yeah, Pan.
It's possible.
Could be. Yeah.
It's possible, but I guess there's so much referencing of a goat man in different eras and different mythologies
Yeah.
that this can probably be some kind of being that goes beyond cryptid, right?
Yeah.
You know, however, I like the creepy side of the goat man. You know what I mean? Like, I like the fact that it's not, you know, it's what you envision.
Yeah.
A tall being with huge horns, roaming the woods, roaming the bridge, hiding beneath the bridge, or just scouring. Right? It makes for a great horror story.
But why a bridge? Why a bridge?
I don't know. It was like common in a lot of stories,
Like,
right?
He like bridges. Like,
Right. So it likes bridges. It actually likes hiding under bridges,
Wow.
which is what threw me off. Right.
Exactly.
I was thinking about that. And I'm like, wow, that's strange. You know, why would a goat hide under a bridge? Well, if it's one of these superhuman entities and it's looking for souls or
Could be a
flesh,
portal under the bridge. Could be a portal to their dimension or
it's
something.
possible.
I
It's
don't know.
possible.
I mean,
So, do I like the goat man?
it's cool. It's cool.
I like the idea of it. I like the fact that there's a lot of legend and a lot of lore that's backing it up.
Yeah.
I like the fact that there's a population of people that can attest to seeing this. I just don't know if it's what I imagine it to be, right?
I got one of the sightings here. It says, according to the University of Maryland folklorist Barry Pearson, the Goatman legend began long ago when were further popularized 1971 when the death of a dog was blamed on the Goatman by local residents. Wow.
So, yeah, I don't know. Like, I wouldn't make a big deal about it over something like that, right? Like, if a legend stemmed from just the death of a dog, I mean, I don't want to be cruel, right? Because animals are important too, but
But it says here, repeating the story and suggesting that the creature attack couples of like more dogs. Maybe it was like a chupacabra thing that he was attacking different animals. and
so
people.
we're hitting a recurring theme,
Yeah.
right? And I think that recurring theme is that they're eating animals.
Yeah.
For reasons that we have no clue. But I don't think it's for sustenance, right?
Maybe they don't have money and they just go to grab something from the
No.
neighbor.
So listen, we look, let's be real for a second, right? We know that animals in the wild feed on creatures, right? But there's a reason for it. They need to eat Now,
Yeah.
based on my impression, right? I could be wrong. These cryptids are like beyond that. Their hunger is not for food.
More like
They're
for
f-
blood, right?
Yeah, right. It's almost like it's the process that drives them, and either they're collecting the soul or they're feasting on the body because they're taking up something with them.
Either some
Right.
organs or the blood or something.
Right. So I don't know. I think that it's one of those gray area questions where yeah, we know they're feeding, but they're not necessarily eating, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I like the goat man,
It's cool. I think it's a
but I'll tell you what, the AI video can put this to bed.
what about the Didi Cabra?
I mean that video is coming soon. We just have to capture more footage. so let's take a look. Let's take a look at it and let's see what the audience thinks about these AI videos. So this is the Goat Man, folks.
The Goat Man, known to terrorize the bridges and lands of Pennsylvania, Texas, and Maryland, they roam these areas in search of innocent victims. Be careful to roam these places alone, or the Goat Man will feast upon your soul.
All right. So
It's kind of
creepy.
scary. It's kind of creepy.
it is. But yeah. I find that particular level of articulation more scarier than, you know, just the visualization of it on
It
pictures
is.
and
It
stuff.
is.
Now I know that it's just as bad as standing in front of a lion. Like, it doesn't make a difference. So guys, share your thoughts. What do you think about that Goat Man video?
What will you do if you need to cross a bridge and there's a goat man waiting for you on the other side? Will you cross it?
Well, I wouldn't. Whoever's waiting for me on that other line is probably not there anyways. So that's my thought on it, right? It makes for a good a good idea, right? Like,
Right.
well, if your mom tells you to cross that bridge because you got to go to the store and get something, but there's an obstacle there, are you gonna go do it? No, I'll just go around.
Or you're gonna go back and your mom's gonna whip you, ha, ha, because you didn't buy the stuff.
I'll take the beating.
Yeah, I got that. Take
I'll
it.
take
too.
the beating. Yeah, so this kind of sums up our cryptid section. I think that your feedback on the AI videos and your feedback on how the content is presented would be great. We're trying to always improve and make sure that we're not just having conversation about it, but that you're enjoying and you're seeing value in the material we're presenting and how we're presenting it.
Exactly.
So your constructive criticism and feedback is greatly appreciated. Which, before we begin, we're also working on merchandise, and we will have our own Distorted Realities merch coming soon.
Yeah, coming
So,
soon. Coming
mugs,
soon.
hats, shirts, and all these shorts, by the way, that we played, they will be on TikTok and Instagram and Twitter.
Nice.
So you'll have them there to share with your friends and just help promote Distorted Realities if you
Gotcha.
could be kind and do so.
Don't forget to hit like and subscribe, guys. Remember,
Yes. Like and subscribe.
all the
So-
time.
And if you're interested in receiving notifications, hit on the bell icon.
Mhm.
All right. So let's go back to our group scene here. So this week, these cryptids became interesting. I like the idea of grabbing some international
Stop.
stuff, right? Because then you can compare, right? You can go in and say, hey, look, this is what Bigfoot is, but this is not what it is over here.
We got the Mapinguari
Right.
in Brazil.
Yeah, you got the Juma, and that dude has two mouths. You know?
Exactly.
Yeah, it almost sounds like a fight, right? But we're not trying to pitch it that way. But at the same time, what we're saying is it's beautiful to see how cultures depict
Exactly.
this information, right? And how they tell their stories.
It's like the Puerto Rican chupacabra with the Mexican one. They're completely different.
You're really digging on that one.
Listen,
We know that the Chupacabra's king in
like-
Puerto Rico.
It is. It is.
You know, there's nothing like it. There's nothing like it. You
Don't-
don't have one for a pet, do you?
You know, you know, there were some sightings about a gargoyle too, like a type of gargoyle animal in Puerto Rico too.
So gargoyles. So it's something I want to touch on, and the issue with that is that they're so. I mean, gargoyles are rich in European, and religion, folklore, and you can't just talk about it and isolate it to one location. You have to talk about this and say, okay, look, this is where it comes from, right? This is how we remember it, and you have like the Hunchback of Notre Dame. You have Gargoyles the cartoon,
That was
right?
so
Because
good.
everybody loves that
I
stuff,
used to
right?
love those cartoons, man.
But at the same time, we try to pretty much present it as a holistic piece versus isolating it into one group. For example, we just kind of proved it, right? We said, you know, the Mapinguari is relevant because it's comparable to a Bigfoot, a Yeti, and, you know, and they all fit in the same pocket, and we can actually have a really huge and very detailed discussion about what each one brings to the table in terms of
Exactly.
story and lore and all that stuff. But yes, whoever wants to talk about gargoyles, we'll make an emphasis on it, but we just want to make sure we dig in, right? And we dig in real good to provide you the right material, the right sources.
The evidence, yeah.
Not evidence, because we're not hunting for it, right?
Yeah.
It's just information. We want to be as proper
The
and as
correct
detailed
information.
Right.
That will be.
But I like gargoyles.
I got a comment here from Corrales. Says, "Is there's like an offering you can do besides your soul that will help you survive the goat man?" Oh wow, interesting.
So it's funny because there was a story that was taught to us as kids, and I'm trying to remember the name. You know, I had one of those Mandela effect moments, right? I don't know if it's Billy Goat Gruff or if it was one about a goat that's on a tree. It's actually there's a goat under a bridge and you had to pay a toll, right? I don't remember what that was, but there are stories about that does exist, and there's actually books that they teach kids. Well, in my time, and we're talking about the 1980s, where they actually spoke about this in story, and it was like a child story, right? Like
Could be Pan the goat, maybe.
no, it wasn't Pan. It had nothing to do with mythology.
Mythology? Okay.
No, it was more like a child's take
Like a sort
on
of
the
match.
Goatman story. But it was great. You know what I mean? So I think that, you know, again, there's probably some way. And, you know, it's great that you asked that question because it brings to greater questioning, right? Like, not just the Goatman. What about all these entities? Is there a way around it? Right?
There
What if
should
you-
be like a way to defeat them, you know, or
Not
catch
necessarily
them.
defeat them, but some of these beings are intelligent beings. They're not necessarily stupid and gonna run and eat you,
Yeah.
right? There must be a way to barter or agree or do something, you know. So it kind of brings a good question. But yeah, I don't remember, but I know there is a way. At least in the child's story. Before we move on, let's see if there's any more questions.
So far, we're good.
We're good. All right. So, all right, folks. So at this point, we're gonna segue. Right. This is your favorite part, right? I think you really enjoy the whole.
We're going
Yeah,
deep, talking about outer space.
Yeah, we're going out there. We're leaving.
Right now, you're entering a different dimension, space-wise.
Folks, everything we present here is not actually factual. It's just what we interpret to be facts. But this is the one that we love the most because everyone questions it at some point in their lives. And that's, are we alone? And I don't think we are.
Do you think so?
I don't think so. I think we're not alone.
I think the same. Yeah,
So why don't we go there?
we should. We should.
All right, guys, we're gonna go there. All right, folks. In Search of Aliens. This is our next segment. And in Search of Aliens, what we did was we kind of like looked at all the possible races that have been documented and reported on various books from a person that we will not disclose and location we will not disclose to not get into any kind of political upheaval or trouble. However, it's been documented, and we decided, hey, it'll be interesting to find out a little bit more about alien species, where they come from, what they do, if they do anything. And this first one is one of the strangest ones. But before we continue, I just want to let you know, all these shorts were not completed in its entirety. You will get shorts for these species towards the middle of the week. But we do have one for this segment, and we hope you enjoy it. But let's go back to this specific species, and it is called Killamere auk.
Okay, according to the information that I have, is the Killamere auk is an alligator alien species from the constellation Volans. Sightings of this race on Earth are rare, so they are completely mystery. It said that they were forbidden to visit Earth around 1000 BCE, but they did not stop coming completely because they were allied with the Mitra? I don't know.
The race Matra.
Oh, Mitra. Okay. Last seen on Earth on December 1989. Wow, that's interesting. Got all that data outside there.
So just so you know, the story behind it is that there's this war between factions of aliens, and the worst one is called the race Matra, right? And an agreement was made between all these races so
Gotcha.
that Earth would not get tampered with. However, the race Matra said, "Screw that. We're gonna do what we want, however we want it, and that's it." The Killamere auk is a very unknown species based on what you said, and what I've discovered. Last seen was in 1989. It is a mysterious race. I just wonder what's its involvement. Unfortunately, there's not a lot going for this specific species. I just wish there was more substance.
Probably
behind it.
because since 1989, there were less seen, so maybe that's why they
Yeah,
don't
but
have that much.
there's not even a lot of documented reports
Yeah.
even before that, so it kind of throws it off, right? So yeah, so with that being said, we said what the hell, right? Let's take a look and see what this thing could possibly present in our AI video. All right, so
Perfect.
let's take a look.
Let's look.
Killamere auk, affiliated with the race Matra. Little is known about this alien species, and they're seldomly seen on planet Earth. However, when they do show up, reports of abductions are reported worldwide.
That was very interesting.
We loved it.
Yeah, kind of
What,
scary.
what threw me off was at the very end, the kid is stuck in this pod. He can't get out. He's just looking there, freaking out.
That's scary.
But let's talk about that for a second. I think this is a good conversation piece. And to the audience, doesn't it terrify you from time to time? Forget about aliens for a second, and we'll inject that later. But the thought of being alone in a space where you cannot get out of it, feeling isolated, right? That's
Very scary.
right. But imagine doing so now with a species that's smarter than you. You don't have a clue what they want to do, and then got you locked up in a room, taking you somewhere you've never been to before, not knowing what's gonna happen next. That's a scary thought.
That very scary. Very scary.
So the next species on the list is called the Curs, and these are the gods of lands. right? It's so they kind of like they gave them catchphrases basically, like they're specialists in specific things. So why don't you tell us about curves?
According to my research, I mean, the Kurds, aka God of Lands, are alleged aliens race believed to be directly related to the Anunnaki. A lot of you guys are familiar with the name. They come from the planet Delimons. Yeah, it's a weird planet. You
Let
know,
me see.
right there. Delimos.
Yeah, Dilemons.
Solomons. There you go. The story of Enlil and Ninglil related to them, and they were directly involved in the development of humanity. After centuries away from Earth, they have recently returned and won't be leaving again. Their leader is among the recent visitors, and they'll have important role in oncoming years. They spend their time immersed in a gold precious liquid, which presumably extend their lifespan. Wow, that's like very
Interesting, right?
interesting. Yeah.
So the image is what their appearance actually looks like. It's funny because they're closely related to the Anunnaki, but they look like overgrown spiders
Yeah.
with humanoid capabilities. What I found interesting was that their expertise is not just in coating themselves with gold, but they know how to manipulate gold.
Exactly.
Right. So we know as a human race that gold has a lot of properties and a lot of use cases. Right. So you want to make sure that when we analyze what they're saying is these are subject matter experts in how to manipulate gold and discovered how to use gold to enhance their lives and increase their longevity.
Exactly. The Anunnakis, for all of you that don't know, the Anunnakis used to love gold too. They came to this planet to look for gold to repair their planet atmosphere because their planet was about to collapse. So that's they have a lot in common. If they both like gold and all that. The only thing is the appearance of human. I mean, the Anunnaki, their appearance was more like human, big humans, taller than a normal human, but they would look like humans.
Yeah. So it's just a lot of commonalities. I think
Yeah.
it makes for a strange comparison, right? Because their appearances are not the same.
They're not the
And
same.
if you look at any of the text or hieroglyphic images of the Anunnaki, they're portrayed with these huge beards, really tall wings,
Wings,
human-like. I mean, these guys are holding lions like they're,
Yeah. Like a little pets, like a little
like
cats.
little pets, right? So, yeah, it's very interesting. But the sad part is that humans love gold too,
Oh yeah.
and we kind of become experts at using it as well, and it gets greedy at times, right? But yeah, it's kind of like a common thing. Gold is the perfect conductor. That's really the secret.
Exactly.
It's the perfect conductor. It's used in technology. It's used in a lot of things.
I think every cell phone has gold these days,
Yeah,
right? Like, they
yeah.
have
There's
some-
actually companies now that would buy your technology just so they can strip out all the metals and then siphon out the gold and silver and all those other materials.
You see?
So
That's great.
it's a big thing now. So yeah, let's move on to my favorite. This is my personal
Oh, really?
favorite. Yeah. HAV Hanway Chondras.
Hanoi Chondras. Okay.
Yeah. So here's what you need to know. Based on this theory about the aliens, they are the reason why vampires exist.
Mm.
How freaky is that? An alien species that feeds on human blood and was there first sighted in Romania during the period
They probably created
of
the vampires.
what's his name? Vlad.
Vlad Dracula?
Yeah.
Wow.
So freaky. So they visit Romania in 936 AD and is responsible for the vampire legend. That's what they say. Known for abducting and I use unaliving and eating humans. Last sighted in 1996. There is not a lot of information of it, but I like that. You know how we're taught stories, right?
Yeah.
Like for example, Vlad the Impaler wasn't the Dracula that we know from the book. It was actually
I think it was worse.
he was way worse. Right?
Yeah.
Like, he bathed in the blood of his victims, impaled them in front of the castle. I believe it was in Wallachia.
Yeah, he will put it outside his castle in stakes.
And that gave birth to this idea that he's something more,
Yeah.
right? But what if another entity outside of that realm
Could be.
infected him and made him lust for blood, and he became the Dracula?
That everybody knows.
Yeah, that's interesting, bro. That's a good selling point if you think about it.
It says here about this alien race. It said Kondra is an alien species from the Sextans dwarf SPH galaxy.
Yes.
They first visit Earth in 934 AD in modern-day Romania. They often abduct and kill humans and drain and drink their blood, and animals as well. They are behind many animals abductions. They are the source of the vampire myth. Several governments know and accept their actions. The bodies they abduct and use are never returned. They were last seen in Scotland in 1996. Wow, that's not that long
Interesting.
ago. Yeah.
I like this one. I think that this, if there was more, like, you can flesh this out more. No pun intended. That what I talk about, because it eats flesh. But you can flesh this story out more, right?
That's a good one.
You can flesh the story out more, and it kind of lends credence to the vampire myth. I think it's great. Let's before we turn a new leaf, check the chat box and see if anybody has anything to say.
I got Keith down says, what is so special about Earth that will make them do an agreement like that?
What was that?
He says, what is so special about Earth that will make them do an agreement? Like the aliens will do an agreement with
So
Earth.
historically, based on documentation, various books, it looks like we were created to be enslaved to provide the gold to these particular entities,
Exactly.
right? That's, again, true or false, I don't know. I'm just presenting what I had studied and found out. But humans were created and were enslaved to harvest gold, and they would provide the gold to the Anunnaki and to whoever was above them.
According to the Anunnaki legend, I think we were created by Enlil, right?
Enlil, yes.
Enlil. So
So,
that's,
there's a lot of back and forth as to how humans were created or for what purpose. But if you're sticking to that theory, then it makes sense.
exactly.
There's not necessarily an agreement. It's like, we made you, you do what we say, and that's it.
Exactly.
So yeah, next one up.
That's it for now. Yeah.
All right, great question. Honestly, I like this alien stuff, and as we keep digging more into it, I find that every species' behavior and
Kind of
their and how their allegiance affects us. You know, the sad part is I also get this feeling that we're the small fry in this whole thing.
Yeah,
Right?
right.
Like, damn, you know,
We're the
give us a
lesser.
break here, right? But I think it's the story as it unfolds and you start learning about species, you kind of like start piecing it together in your head, and it kind of reminds me of the stories that the Vimanas from India,
Gotcha.
like the what's it called? This is a book
Yeah,
or a series of books in India
There
where
are,
there's this huge cosmic war between the gods.
they show like flying spaceship and all that. Like they even have that on their temples.
yeah, yeah.
The
So
Brahmana.
the Vimana.
Brahmana.
Yeah, so I mean, it kind of puts that in my head. Like, what if everything that, because every culture has a similar story.
Yeah.
When it comes to extraterrestrial warfare, it's just, you know, they tie it to gods.
Exactly.
So if I'm a person from that culture, I might interpret a species higher than me as a god.
Exactly.
You know, I might not interpret them as alien. You know, I mean, humans have evolved and used more logical, more reasoning to understand. No, that's an invasion.
Yeah, I mean,
You know, so it's different, but I think it makes for a good case.
it is. It is. It's very interesting.
So-
I mean, we can talk for hours about this because those texts from India are very, very interesting. Very.
Yeah. So I think we should cue off from the paranormal. I mean, from the aliens, and jump into the paranormal. Because there are some cool things that I've actually found that are in common to this whole alien thing.
They are.
And we're gonna watch. So essentially, what we do in this segment is we watch videos, TikTok videos, and we review them. They're not our videos, just so you know, and they are cited on the video who is the owner. And I tell you all to support these videos and go to TikTok and check them out and because they're very interesting.
Yeah, they're very interesting. There's a lot of things out there, man. A lot of stuff out there that we still don't know. Where we're here to help you understand some stuff here and there.
And we're here to learn as well
Exactly.
from you guys.
And don't forget to hit like and subscribe. And for you, Calvin Colon, I don't know what you're gonna do about it, but find a way, my friend.
All right, so let's move on to the paranormal. All right, so the first video we're going to watch was one that I found really interesting. And let's just open it up.
What? What's wrong with you?
It
What?
took my daughter.
Parker?
Please let me inside.
All right, so the first one, it looks like a person is wearing like a latex,
Like a mask, right?
a latex mask, right? But if you look at the hands, they look kind of like
Weird.
a witch, right? I don't know if it's real or not. It could have been a person who intends to do harm,
Yeah.
right? By the way, this is Mike Ghost Vids at TikTok. If you want to go to those videos, yeah, I don't think it's anything other than a person in a disguise who's probably mentally deranged and wants to break in and kill him.
It was kind of scary, though.
It is scary looking. The second one was more interesting,
Yeah.
which is the one with the guy coming out the car because he goes and smacks the object.
And there was nothing.
There was nothing there.
That was scary.
That's more believable.
That guy has a big, because I will not get out of the car to
So just
to do that.
so we can make sure that you understand when we say paranormal, it doesn't always equate to ghost. Paranormal are experiences. They're out of the ordinary, right? Or they're extraordinary in some nature. We just like to review these videos to see if we can make sense of it, and in some cases just say, no, this is not what we would think it is. It might not necessarily be real.
Exactly.
So let's go back to our paranormal files, and let's go to video 2.
سند ليش قايل ايش؟ سند بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم سند
So this one is
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم بسم الله اسمها السند اسمها السند سند كيف انت هيك سند بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم جهتك بالله رجعوا بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم جهتك بالله بقول لك
that right there is for you.
It is already.
¿Qué quiere?
That was freaky. So the first one was like a jinn, which is the Islamic or Muslim belief about ghosts. They're in a cave, it appears, and there's a jinn with them.
I saw one video from those people that they were like digging a hole, covering a hole.
With a rock.
Yeah. And there was like that thing coming out. I was
Yeah,
crazy.
so there's a guy who haunts these things. He's notorious. His name is Ahab Kesmaya.
Oh wow.
And he just runs towards these places and does his ghost hunts alone.
Wow.
And he records and according to him, they actually captured Jin on footage and actually showed it. It's pretty interesting. Do I believe it 100%? Probably not, because anybody in their right mind wouldn't run to a haunted place by themselves
Yeah.
with something as powerful as a Jin, which is considered more powerful than a ghost.
Exactly.
So,
They're more like a demon.
yeah. So that other video with the handprint,
That
Wow.
was scary.
that's creepy.
There was nobody on the other side.
I mean, the person was right there, handprint. Looks back, nothing. That's like the what we call your mother's phantom smack. You go in there and you say something out of line and psh,
Yeah.
and you get hit. You don't know where it came from.
And the guy that was coming up the basement too.
Yeah.
That was scary.
So that's more like a possession.
something on his eyes. So
Yeah, his eyes were glowing.
yeah, that was weird.
I don't know. I like the second one better than the first one. So let's check out the third one.
Yeah. Bring it on.
Thank you. I'm proud of you. Shampoo and conditioner.
Alexis, have you ever seen Avatar: The Last Airbender? Alexis has been gone for so freaking long trying to actually poop. Oh, my. What? Alexis? 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 Okay. Wait. Wait, be careful.
So that one was really disturbing.
That was
For one, I find that what came out had multiple arms. It's almost alien-like in nature.
Yeah.
You said Skinwalker, right?
like a skinwalker.
Yeah, but that looks more alien-like in style and
Like
behavior.
a type of spider, right? Like a
Yeah.
human spider, something like that. I don't
Yeah.
know. Humanoid spider.
So I think that specific video caught my eye because of that. The video is longer, by the way. They just froze it so that you could see what was there.
Gotcha.
But the actual starts chasing the people. The people are running frantic.
They caught it in
Yeah.
parts.
So you actually see the guy running with the camera, and the thing is chasing him with all 6 hands actually articulating, which is
That's weird.
not 6. I'm sorry, 3 hands. It had 3 hands articulating while it's running. You don't see all the details, like you don't see its mouth, its eyes. You don't know what it is. But I like the idea of it being an alien type being that can probably morph or
Gotcha.
observe. They were looking for the girl,
Yeah.
right? So what if they found the girl? What if this particular being finds the girl, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then took her, was trying to absorb her body so that he can morph
Turn
into
into
her,
her.
and then go back with the guys.
Could be.
That might be it, right? So it's possible. I think all in all, these videos were great.
I think there's too much weird stuff happening here in the woods. Like a lot of stuff.
So this goes back to again, we spoke about this, and the only person who's really brought it up and made a big deal about it, and for the past couple of years, it's taken a lot of steam, is David Paulides. And I hope I'm not butchering your name, David, but he has this books called Missing 411, and these books kind of depict strange incidents of people gone missing in the woods, but the circumstances and how they're found, whether dead or alive, how they're found is crazy. Like there's no way. Like this is, it's the logic goes out the window, and their consistency in how it happens to each person.
Okay.
But definitely Missing 411. For those of you, there is a documentary called Missing 411. I believe it's on Hulu, and there's a second one called The Hunted, which is about hunters that end up missing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, with guns and all, bro.
With
They end up
guns.
missing.
That's crazy.
You know, so it's an interesting story, and David Paulides has tons of stories. I mean, he has these books. They're like, you know, the old phone books,
Yeah.
the yellow phone books. They're like this thick.
Or people missing.
People missing every year. He
Wow.
releases a new book. We're not talking about one or two people. We're talking about hundreds and thousands of people missing yearly in state parks, wooded areas, rainforests, and stuff like that. So, something to really like check for yourself. It is a huge conversation piece. I wouldn't use it for a segment. This would be like a whole 1 hour type thing.
Yeah, like a whole episode.
So, folks, that's pretty much it for our paranormal segment. And now to the main event.
We got we're going from the paranormal to the paranormal, right?
Well, not necessarily. So big disclaimer, right? This subject is very touchy, and we do not present this in a way to offend any one person or their ideals or religious
or
beliefs.
any religion based.
So we really want to bring that up because this has to do with fallen angels, and basically what we decided to do was look at 3 in the 72 that
72.
exist in the catalog of King
Solomon. Yeah.
and start from the bottom and work our way up and understand what these angels or demons, whatever we call them
Fallen
today,
angels.
were. But before we begin, let's just jump into the creepy segment.
Yeah.
We have somebody in the chat.
No, right. We're good. We're good.
All right. So the first thing is, before we begin with the first slide, King Solomon, right? Apparently, he
was the wisest man in the Bible. He asked God for wisdom,
and he gave it to him.
and he was given that, and he also was given as a symbol. It was I think it was like a ring, according to the legend. Was a ring. That ring has a symbol, and with that symbol, he was able to control all the fallen angels or the demons. And according to that folklore legend, they, in a way, he kind of slaved them and make them build a temple.
So I have a question because I did a lot of reading.
Mhm.
Right. So the first question is, what are fallen angels? Right. What are fallen angels? That's what I would like to know. What are fallen angels?
Well, accordingly to, there were like 3 rebellions against God, right? The first one was the one that we know as Satan. Satan is just the title. It means the accuser, and that's the devil, right? That was the first rebellion when he rebelled against God, seduce Eve to eat about the truth of knowledge and evil. And when he was cast from heaven, he fell down like a bolt of lightning, and he took some angels with him. I forget that.
72, I believe.
72.
72 angels went with them.
I think he took more with them.
No, it's 72.
72.
Yeah. So
Okay.
in the, I mean, if you're going by the Solomon stuff, there's 72 in total.
Okay.
Right, and each one is either a duke, a prince, or an earl. Or
So there were
something.
high ranks. There were high ranks
Right.
Angels that
There was a ranking system in place.
exactly.
Um,
So according to the Bible, Genesis, that's the first rebellion. Then the second rebellion will be in the book of Enoch. That also in Genesis there's a chapter that tells you when they got the Son of God, referring to the angels in this case, so that the women's were fair, and the daughters of men were fair, and they came down and took him as wife, right? So that's on the book of Enoch that they tell you those angels were called the Watchers. And I think it was like 200 of them, something like that.
Right.
And their leader was named Samyasa. So there's a lot of weird things here that you need to dig in order to find this information. It's not
So
like
the
out there.
reason why I asked the question is exactly that, and the reason for the disclaimer is there's a lot of stories that are considered canon and not canon to biblical text and references, and more importantly, these stories, even though they may sound the same, they're not necessarily related. They're coming
Exactly.
from some person who wrote it. So we're just taking this with a grain of salt. We're not taking it literal. And what we said was, you know what? There's too many stories that go on with this. I like Solomon's Tale because it's very descriptive. Right?
Oh, yeah.
So we're going to start with the 72,
Yeah.
right? And I think we should just talk about them because what you come to learn is that not every fallen angel was necessarily evil,
Exactly.
right? They were demonized for going up against God based on the
And they have a different, pretty much, let's see it this way, like they have a different point of view of seeing
right.
things. you know.
So the first one is the great Earl of Hell and commanding 36 legions. His name is Andromalius.
Yes.
And I don't know if I'm butchering that name. I like the way I say it, which is Andromalius.
Yeah.
But it's the 72nd demon, the last one in the order. Not necessarily the worst one, but what was interesting is that it is responsible for the collection of souls of people who were thieves and those with wicked hearts.
You see?
So I was thrown away. And then by the way, I looked at like different pages for this specific individual, other AKA or other known names, and this was common. All right. And it's depicted as a man carrying a large serpent wherever he goes. And this is the artistic render. What you see in the bottom of the slide is the actual symbols or the symbology keys that Solomon had to depict each specific demon
Exactly.
or angel, fallen angel in this case.
Well, the information that I got from Andromalius,
Andromalius.
yeah. It says, is a mighty great Earl of Hell, having 36 legion of demon at his service. He can bring back both thief and stolen good, punish all thief and other wicked people, and discover hidden treasures and evilness, and all dishonest dealing. Andromalius is depicted as a man holding a big serpent in his hand. That's interesting, you know.
It is because as a kid, I find that when we're taught that,
Kind of like this.
What
picture here? Andromalius, something like that.
so as a kid, we're told that all demons are evil, all demons are wretched. Maybe it's just a way to name somebody who defied a god.
Exactly.
It doesn't make you evil. It just you were demonized because you disobeyed God. But based on its core values, now imagine that its core values are solid, but its behavior and intentions are not.
Exactly.
So-
It's still a demon, you know.
Yeah, so-
I got more of him over here. It says the 72nd spirit in order. His name Andromalius is an arrow, great mighty, appearing in the form of a man holding a great serpent in his hand. His office is to bring back both teeth and guts, which been stolen. So that's kind of interesting, you know.
All right.
He said his seal is this, in which were those as aforesaid. Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
So the second one I like.
You like that one?
Yeah, because it kind of plays into this idea of multiple personalities, right? It's
Bipolar demon.
Dantalion, right? It's the 71st demon in the order. It also commands 36 legions, so it's an earl. It's responsible for teaching and providing art and science.
Wow.
Yeah. It's depicted as a man with many faces holding a book, right? Now, here's the reason why it has many faces. Your perception of me is one way, but that person's perception of me might be different. So it has the ability to understand what you're thinking and present themselves the way you would like,
Gotcha.
which is very manipulative.
It is. It is. Sounds
Wow.
very, very wicked.
So yeah, and that's the seal for that specific one there.
I have here some information on him, kind of like what you said. It says, Dantalion is a powerful great duke of hell with 36 legion of demons under his command. He is the 71st of 72 spirit of Solomon. He teaches all arts and science and also declares the secret counsel of anyone. Given that he knows the thought of all people and can change them at his will. He can also cause love and show the stimulate of any person. Show the same by means of a vision, and let them be in any part of the world they will. He is depicted as a man with many appearances, which mean the faces of all men and women. There are also many depictions in which he is said to hold a book in one of his hands. The 17th spirit of Dantalion, he is a duke great and mighty appearance in form of a man with many countenances, all men and women's faces. That's kind of crazy, right?
It is. It is. Let's pause there for a second. So what do you think outside of like the science and the arts? What do you think that is negatively perceived as by this demon? What are the perceptions, right?
Well, accordingly, he manipulates stuff. Yeah, that word's very big. One, remember these beings, even though these beings have millions of years, you know what I mean?
Right.
So that means they're very smart. So you will not want to deal with none of them. I don't know how King Solomon dared to do that. You know, even though he asked God for wisdom, but when you think about it, he will make him talk to him and he will make him do things. But again, we're talking about these entities has millions of years of knowledge, so they can easily manipulate you. That's why a lot of people get in trouble.
Interesting. All right, so let's move on to the last one. The last one is known as the seer. Now, it has different spelling, so I just put all three on top. It's the Prince of Hell with 26 legions.
Wow.
So it's one above the other two. It has 70. It is the number 70th demon in the order. It's considered a good demon. I don't know if there's such a thing as a good demon, but that's what it's considered because it provides abundance.
Gotcha.
Abundance in exchange for what? You know? So
Probably
it's-
want your soul or something.
I mean, it's one of those questions, right? Depicted as a man flying a horse, and it's handsome in appearance, like me. It can travel to any location in a matter of seconds.
Wow. He's fast.
Yeah, so its main goal is to provide abundance.
I have a comment here from Corral. It says, the snake staff look like the pharmacy sign.
Yeah, so that oh my God, I just drew a blank, but I remember. I know what you're talking about. That those staffs are used for the physicians. It's a symbol. It's symbolic. Its symbology is really used in medicine, but in this case, it's totally different.
It's called pharmakia. according to the book of Enoch, the fallen angels, when they came down, they give knowledge to humans, right? Remember, this means they want to destroy us. You know what I mean? So pretty much what they did, they accelerate that process, teaching men how to do weapons and teaching women how to do pharmakia, the art of curing with roots, plants, and all that stuff. Some people see it as giving wisdom to the humans, but also the way I see it is that they're accelerating the process of our destruction in a way.
That's a great thought process to have, and I mean, I don't necessarily feel the same way, but it's kind of a an alternate way of looking at it, basically. Um, yeah, Seer doesn't really do much other than look good and give abundance.
Right? He has a nice horse.
I mean, but again, Pegasus, flying horse, other mythologies.
Yeah.
We can go into this for days.
I got some info about him here. A little about you said also. It says the seer, also known as Sire, is a prince of hell with 26 legions of demons under his command. He can go to any place on earth in a matter of seconds to accomplish the will of the conjurer, bring abundance, help in fighting hidden treasure or in robbery, and is not a demon of evil but good nature, being mostly indifferent to evilness. He is depicted as a man riding a winged horse and is said to be beautiful.
Like me. All right. So, so we're going to keep covering these and counting them down. I'm assuming that the more deeper we go through the list, the more details are going to be provided
Oh, yeah.
because there are some higher level stuff where people are commonly like they are familiar with it.
Exactly.
So that's pretty much it for our segment.
I wonder what symbol those King Solomon will have in that ring that make the demons
So
obey him.
you see, your interpretation of it is completely different from mine. From what I understand, he had a chest plate
a chest plate.
with 72 different type of gems, each representing one of
Gotcha.
one of the trapped demons.
Okay.
But again, I could be wrong, right? So there's different renditions and different eras of different way of explaining these things. So it makes it very
The
hard.
book that I heard that was in the story, there was a little kid that used to work for Solomon, right? And the kid was like very like malnourished, like skinny, like,
Mhm.
and he spoke to the king. It was like, I had this demon that is sucking my blood at night, and he gave him the ring. And he was, when you see this demon at night, you just throw the ring to his chest and bring it to me. So when the night happened, the demon came to suck the kid blood. He threw the ring to the devil, and I don't know how he managed to bring the devil to Solomon.
Oh,
And every
nice.
time the devil will come, he will like kind of like interview. He will interview that type of demon, like, what are you afraid of? And the demon will tell him, I'm afraid of this angel, like Saint Michael. That's what I'm afraid of. And what do you do? And that's what they will say this stuff like, I bring suffering to people or whatever. So each one had like a different type of job that they do, but they also each of them has a angel in heavens that they're afraid of. Like,
So we're gonna have to keep investigating,
it's
keep getting more information.
very interesting.
It is. But that's it. This is the end of the road for the week.
We got a comment here of chorality before we go. It says, what if the Jersey Devil is the seer horse?
Ooh,
Wow,
could
could be.
that's possible.
Yeah, I heard the Jersey Devil has a horse face
Well, I mean, it
and
has wings
Yeah,
and cloven hooves,
could be.
right? It's funny when you put all these things together, you kind of surmise your own thoughts, and these are great, kind of
Yeah.
creative analogies or ideas that could make sense at some point. What I think is that these are from far gone eras, and cryptids are probably the results of mistakes made,
Could be.
by the gods themselves.
Could be
you
their
know,
sons. You know what I mean?
So yeah. So let's get to it. To all the folks watching online, thank you so much. Please be sure to like, subscribe, click on the notification bell. Thank you for watching Distorted Realities. I'm Jose.
I'm Frank Walls, and remember to hit like and subscribe. And our merch is coming soon, so be on the lookout for that. Don't forget, And I think
And there you have it,
it's
folks.
the end of the road.
We're
already.
signing out. We'll see you next Sunday, same time, 5 p.m.
Take
Have a
care,
good one.
guys. Have a good one.